guys, what's up and welcome back to another video. As far as the scent of the day, I have been working on this seemingly never-ending candle. So let's just see how many times I bring this one up because it never seems to burn out. Oh, and by the way, that one was from Woodwick and it's called Fireside. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. I would love for you to take a moment and subscribe and also hit that notification bell so you will never miss anything interesting. And also, I do upload every single day on Instagram and Reddit, so if you like content that's updated daily, be sure to go give me a follow. So I know it's kind of abnormal. I actually put on some makeup for this video today. I kind of just felt like playing with some products and trying some different things out that I really haven't got to test out this month. I personally think the foundation that I have on today is a little too light for me, so I kind of put on some extra bronzer to kind of balance it out a little bit, but I think I went overboard in both departments. So getting into the quick introduction for the palette of the week, this is from ABH and Norvina Cosmetics, and this is the first palette that they ever launched. And this one's called the Pro Pigment Palette Volume 1. Now, I think I've tested out every single one of these palettes except the newest one, which is the 5. But I have my eyes on that one, and hopefully I can get that one soon. This is the quick peek at the color story of what we're going to be using today. And I would consider this a very rainbow-esque palette. It doesn't contain all the colors of a rainbow, but you can spot a lot of them. And the look that we're going to be creating with this today is called a quad blend. And we're going to be using a lot of the colors in here to give a very light, airy look on the eye, kind of like a fairy almost. So the plan of action is to go through with the tutorial first and show you how to create this actual look. And the second part of this video is going to be the in-depth review of this palette. So if you're curious as to what my thoughts and opinions are on the functionality of this, then stay tuned for the second part of this video. So let's move right into the tutorial. Hey guys, welcome to part 1, which is the tutorial, and like always we're going to start with the prep steps. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eye as well as tightline it. And for prepping today, I'm just going to dip into the Sample Beauty eye base. I just recently tested this out a little while ago and I've really been enjoying it thoroughly. So as I'm only doing one eye today, I'm just going to prep one eye, and that would be my right, your left. I'm just going to go ahead and brush on a thin layer of this primer, and what I really like about this is it dries down to a powdery finish, so whatever eyeshadow that you put on top blends so well. I also can't complain too much about the price tag of it because I think when I bought it, I got it for $2.20, and that also signifies to me that they might be considering discontinuing this product. I am not sure about that. As far as tightlining it, I'm going to go in with the same pencil that I'm going to eventually use on the waterline later in the look. So I'm going to take this LA Girl Shockwave eyeliner, and this one is in the shade Vivid. It's like a light lavender color, and I'm just going to go ahead and tightline my upper lash line with this. Now for this look, I'm going to start it with two types of detail brushes, and the first one is a tiny eyeliner brush, and I'm really going to use this for placement. And then the second one is a more fluffy detail brush, and I'm going to use this for blending. So I'm going to take the really small eyeliner brush and go into shade B4 to start with. And from the very outer corner of my eye, I'm going to draw a line to right about there. Now with that same brush and more of that B4 shade, I'm going to start filling in maybe about a 1/4 inch worth of lid space with that shade. Now once you're satisfied with that, keep with the same eyeliner brush and go into shade B1. And we're going to apply this next to the purple. Now once you get the pink on there, take that fluffy brush that we began with and start blending this middle section so you get a little purple into the pink and a little pink into the purple. Now with the eyeliner brush, go into shade C1, and we're going to put this next to the pink one. And then once you get the white on there, take the fluffy brush and go ahead and blend that one out. And now the really fun part comes because we get to put a metallic in the inner corner. So we're going to take shade D2 on that same eyeliner brush. And the metallics work great on a dry brush, but they do work better on a dampened one. But I'm just going to use this dry today. And the first thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to create my outline with the shade. The reason I'm creating my outline first is because I really want to pack the shade on for maximum intensity, and I don't want to go outside of the confines of the shape that I have already kind of created. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline it and then fill it in. So once I get my shape on there, I'm going to go ahead and take that same shade D2 and go ahead and fill it in. Now the next thing that we're going to do is, since that blue doesn't really blend the easiest into that white, we're going to go into shade A1. And this is a very pretty shade, by the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the seam between the blue and the white so you could kind of more easily blend it. Now, once you're effectively blended, go ahead and find your favorite metallic application brush. And for me, it's this one from QC Makeup Academy. And then you're gonna go into shade B3, and we're really gonna layer this onto the lid area only. Like I mentioned earlier, you're gonna get a significant impact if you use the shade wet, but I'm just using it dry today. The next thing we're going to do is start working on the lower lash line. So you're going to want to go ahead and dust away any fallout if you experience any of that. I have a slight bit actually. And then at this point, I like to do my waterline liner so I don't disturb the shadows already placed. And I'm just going to put this on my waterline. And now for this lower lash line, I was kind of unsure what to do because I wanted all the attention to be focused up on the top. So what I ended up doing is going back into the shade D2 and putting that shade very lightly on the lower lash line to kind of match with the inner corner and to balance everything out. And I think it turned out really great that way, but of course you can do anything that you want to do, but I think it turned out really pretty. So right now I'm just dipping into the shade D2 on that little eyeliner brush, by the way, and then I'm going to just apply this from the inner corner to the outer corner on the lower lash line. And for the last step of this look, I'm just going to take a pencil brush and I'm going into shade A1. And I'm just going to lightly put this in the inner corner of this look. I think that little inner corner touch makes a really big difference in the outcome of this look in specific. So if you ever feel like recreating this, don't skip that part. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and throw on some mascara and I'll be right back. All right, guys, here's the finished look with just mascara. And like most looks, this is gonna look killer with false lashes. So if you're into false lashes, definitely recommend. But yeah, in general, I think this look is super cute. I would definitely do it again. And I don't really normally go towards pink and purple tones, so it's just something a little bit different for me, and I really, really like it. Be sure and let me know down in the comments below what you think about this look and if you think you're gonna try it. Anyway, I think it's time to get into part 2, which is the in-depth review, so let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to part 2, which is the palette review. And here's another look at the palette that we're going to be talking about today, and the one that we just got done using. And the first thing that I always like to talk about is the packaging. And I personally love this type of packaging. This is a very heavy duty plastic casing. And I find that these types of packagings are very, very protective of the fragile shadows inside. And then when you open it up, you're greeted with a very large mirror. And let me tell you, this mirror is super awesome. I don't usually tend to use the mirrors that are inside palettes, but this one I do use. So again, here's a look at the shade layout, and you get 25 different shadows in here. And each one of these weighs in at 1.8 grams, so that's an above average amount of shadow per pan. As far as formulations go, there are 3 types of formulas in here. There are 15 mattes, 2 sequins, and 8 metallic shadows. As far as the mattes go, this is probably my favorite matte formula in my entire collection. It's incredibly easy to work with, meaning it blends out with no issue. Very, very nice for gradients and layering, and you can build it up with no issue. And if you're wondering about the pigmentation of them, they're a more directly pigmented type of shadow. So you know how some shades are kind of buildable where they apply lightly and then the more you build them up, the darker they get. These ones apply more directly pigmented, so you really need to be mindful of your placement. Now, as far as the sequin formula, there are only 2 sequins in here. And what a sequin is it's a shadow with a matte base, but it has really teeny little miniature pinpoint specks of glitter in it. And I find that one of the sequin shadows in here is way more glittery than the other one, but both of them, when you use them, the glitter just dusts away when you blend them, so it really doesn't impact application at all. And as far as the metallics, these are some nice metallics in here, but they're not my favorite in the world. I do appreciate the fact that each one applies with a different tone, so you're unlimited when it comes to creativity here. They provide for a very uniform application, and they are also very pigmented. And like I mentioned earlier, they work fine with the dry brush, but of course they'll work better with a dampened brush. And since there's a matte black in this palette, let's talk about that a little bit. So the matte black is right here, and let me tell you, it is completely and fully matte in formulation. And this one in particular is extra pigmented. So by using the shadow, you can get an astronomical amount of depth into your looks. And the formula of the matte black remains consistent with all the other mattes in the palette in its ability to blend. So therefore, it's not as scary as a shade as it really seems to be. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop some swatches on screen of what all the shadows look like swatched out. So for this next section, we're gonna do the routine data check. And what we're gonna do in this section is look at different aspects of the palette and see what it has and what it doesn't. So the first thing I like to look at is the formula. Is it a clean formula? And on the website, it says that it is. The second thing is the cruelty-free status, and this one is indeed cruelty-free. And the next thing is it vegan? And especially in palettes that have red shadows, I like to just double check that, and this one is actually vegan. And the last thing that I always like to look for and find where it's located is the palette's expiration date. And the best by use date is 18 months on this palette, so you're gonna get the best use out of this in 18 months, and the actual date is located on the back of the palette itself. So now we're gonna hop into my favorite part of the video, which is the cost evaluation. Sometimes you can catch this palette on sale, but as for right now, this palette costs $60. Breaking that down a little bit, it comes to $2.40 per shade, and breaking that down a little bit further, it comes to $1.33 per gram. So evaluating that breakdown and comparing it to similar products offered on the market, this one is relatively affordable. So now let's talk a little bit of facts about this. I didn't find many, but I found some that were kind of interesting. And the first thing I would like to mention is that this was created and designed to be a professional grade artistry palette. The next thing is that each shade in here was curated by Norvina herself. And the last thing that I found interesting about this is that it's dermatologist tested and it's non-comedogenic. Now we're going to get into the last part of this review, which is my recommendation. So upon using this, I didn't get any patching or creasing. I did get quite a bit of kickback in the pans and some slight fallout on my face, and I do recommend doing your eyes before base with these palettes. But if you've been on the fence about this or were just curious about it, I highly recommend it. And there are 3 reasons why I say that. The first reason is for its blendability. When I say that the Norvina palettes are my most favorite in my entire collection, I mean because they're so easy to work with. Every single shadow that you see in here works well with one another. There's no issues creating gradients. There's no issues blending them out. You can get really nice fuzz blurred lines with them. And then you can even pack them on for some really sharp impact. Reason number 2 why I recommend this is because it has some really inspirational color groupings. So as you can see in the layout, it's a very unique color story, and I really like that and do gain inspiration from that, because they really pair shadows together that I really don't associate just naturally. So it really helps me to think, to create some new looks and try new things. And some may find this type of layout chaotic, but I just really like it and find it helpful. And for the last reason is that this is a reliable and consistent formula. Not only is every formula consistent in the palette, but every formula is consistent across palettes too. So if you like one palette, the other ones work just as well. And if you're really trying to create a detailed, ornate look, you can rely on these palettes to really give you what you need. These are the palettes that I turn to when I want to create a look and have it done right the first time. So yeah guys, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you liked it and found it helpful. And if you did like it, please give me a giant thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, hit that thumbs down button. And until next time, bye. Yeah. Oh, you ate it all?
Yeah. You think I wasn't?
You never eat it all.
I'm hungry. I was hungry already. I was hungry already.
Make sure you shut that, okay? And then once you get the white on there, take the fluffy, and we're gonna put, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on the, and then I'm just gonna apply this from my inner, and I'm just gonna, I can tell too.
Okay, congratulations.
Be sure and let me know. Be sure and let me know in the comments. No. Why can't I talk today? Oh no, my eyebrows fell. So with the shadow, you can reach an astronomical amount of depth. So by using the shadow, you can reach an So by using this shadow, you can reach an astronomical